What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles, welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Movie Files. Joining me, as always, is the one and only little brother, Jayce. How you doing, bro? Shot?
Doing good, bro. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. So, I told you last time that, my dear cousin and your dear cousin got me onto a new show, and I'm starting to think that I'm going to make him my official, you should watch this show. So, he's been going, hey, you need to watch The Last Kingdom for probably about 3 months now. And I finally decided, all right, I'm watching stuff. I'm sitting at home. I can't really get out and do much. I'm going to watch Clone Wars. I'm going to go through Star Wars. And he was like, come on, man. If you're watching Clone Wars again, watch The Last Kingdom. So I finally was like, all right, I'm going to watch the show, see what it's all about. And so glad I listened to him again because this show has been amazing. I am 2 episodes away from the series finale, but Netflix has a movie coming out in April that's going to continue the story. So I'm very excited about that. And I'd say that if I had watched this before Game of Thrones, I don't think I would have gotten past Red Wedding in Game of Thrones.
Huh. I'm working from home, I also decided, all right, you guys both said this is a good show, so I picked it up too. And I'm basically I'm plowing through the first season, and it's been a really good show.
What's making it such a good show to you?
Because our hero is not flawless. Again, I think that's always one of my biggest problems with new TV shows is you can't have your lead hero being Mary Sue.
Let's put the rat on the table. It's typically the women characters who are flawlessly perfect.
Well, the idea initially said was like kind of Luke Skywalker was Mary Sue, and I'm like, that's not accurate.
How is that even possible?
It's like the dude got his hand chopped off.
When we first see him, he's getting punked out by sand people. He's getting shoved at a bar to the floor because he can't even handle himself. He is constantly not. If in the Mary Sue version of that, he would have flipped over and kicked all of the sand people and grabbed 3PO before he fell to the ground using some untapped force that he never knew existed. And then when he sees Ben Kenobi, you're Obi-Wan Kenobi. You knew my dad. Okay, you got me. Let me tell you exactly why I knew him. And, that's how that would have played out. And then in Star Wars in the bar, he would have flipped Dr. Everson and then ripped his arm off with the force of him just flipping him. He wouldn't need Han Solo to come through. He would have just, when Obi-Wan was starting to get distracted, he would use the force and pulled him back so Darth Vader didn't kill him. And he would have escaped anyway. And Han wouldn't need to come to rescue him because he'd just shoot it perfect on his first shot.
He would have told Han to get out of the cockpit. I can fly this thing better than you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
that would have definitely been.
Yeah, that would have been obnoxious. Thankfully, Luke is not that kind of character. But yeah, and you bring up an excellent point. And I will go one further that in The Last Kingdom, there are tons of women characters. And not a one of them is treated like this perfect, you can never do no wrong. The characters, and this is something that I think you and I both were annoyed constantly with while we watched Supergirl. She needed propping up every 5 minutes. Everybody telling her how great she was. Yet she never really did anything that needed propping up because she was already awesome.
I think in the lead character has a myriad of nicknames for people who respond to him because he's not like 80s action hero scrub, but he's like, hey, you probably should do this, and everyone kind of berates him like, hey, here's a better way you can do this. Learn from experience, and you can be better than what you are right now. And I think that is a lot of what's missing from TV shows. Like, our heroes are not flawless,
and movies.
It's like we should look at our heroes and superheroes as reflection of us. We aren't perfect, but we can get there. We can get better. And I think that is, even just looking at these for like 5 or 6 episodes, like everyone keeps telling me, like, hey, if you just had patience or just had a little bit of tact, we wouldn't be here. And it's like, you can see as a young man, he's like, yeah, I'm impetuous. I'm full of spit and fire. But it's like, just simmer that down a little bit and we'll get so much further. And it's like, a really refreshing thing. And like the women are they're not out of the women characters. None of them been like one of his girlfriend at the time. I mean, for the first 5 episodes or so forth, she is not treated as any like she's always a very big part of stuff. She's always doing stuff, but she's again not flawless either. She has her like, hey, I got my opinions. I don't know if you're going the right way. And since I'm not gonna spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it, but yeah, they make good common sense choices that don't turn you off like maybe like Game of Thrones could have, and it'd be like, you really think I'm really that invested and I'm not gonna jump if you do something like this, like Red Wedding. It's like you're pushing it, and we had to get talked off the ledge for quitting the show after the wedding. Red Wedding, we're like, gosh, you guys are X, Y, and Z. I'm like, yeah, but you guys, they pushed it.
I think the big thing with Game of Thrones was from the Red Wedding to I think that was midway season 3. I felt like not until the end of season 5 did I feel like the good guys were starting to get some momentum and okay, maybe y'all can turn the tide of this thing, because I just felt like it was such a slog of like, it felt like the Negan Savior's run of Walking Dead, where it's just the bad guys constantly getting beat down, and it's just like, this is no fun. I'm not enjoying this.
Mm-hmm. And the fun, when you said it, I instantly got transported back to Empire Strikes Back. If you put Empire Strikes Back in TV form, that's probably what it would look like, and everybody would be like, "Dang, are the good guys ever gonna win again? Dang, God,
I'm gonna have to fight you now. We're gonna have to fight." See, the beauty of Empire was the good guys kept getting a little victory, but the bad guys kept punching them harder in the face. So hey, we'll get rescued after you fought this Wampa that scratched and sharded your face up, but the Empire's coming, and we're going to finally take down 2 or 3 of these walkers, but we're going to blow up the shield, and then we're going to invade the base. We're going to escape Hoth, but Darth Vader's coming after you. And, I'm learning to be a Jedi, but I'm too cocky, and I think I know what's going on, and I really would love to finish my training, but shoot, now my friends are getting tortured for me. I got to go save them. I did come around to kind of save them, but now I lost my hand, and now my friends have to save me. It was a back and forth, and I think that's what I love so much about Empire. It's not just the good guys, it's not the bad guys the whole time. It's the only movie to me where it's this back and forth, where the good guys think they've got 2 steps ahead of the villains, but then the villains are like, actually, we're now 3 steps ahead of you, and we're coming back for you. So it just leads, that's why that cliffhanger to me is so good, because like, oh yeah, they're going to get Han, and then it's going to be on, and Luke is going to have his remastered Darth Vader, and he's going to beat him this time. And we don't know how that's going to play out, but it's just like, oh yeah, it's about to be on. It's that hope that you still get from the end of Star Wars, knowing that they've got to make things right. But they didn't come away with this one with the big win. We blew up the Death Star. Yay us. This is very much you wait and see, they're getting better and they're going to come for you harder.
Okay.
With teddy bear killers.
Okay. But in Game of Thrones, there was always a time, we got those little small victories, but then, like, oh, wow, I'm saying, want to say, Theon's about to get away, but he's not. And chip, snip.
Sansa's married a prince.
Yeah. Oh wait, it's still Ramsay, and he's Ramsay. So I think I'm sticking with my point, and you can sit here. But I think Last Kingdom, I haven't seen that, and even if it was, I'm still like, okay, this is something new that I am kind of invested in. Like, all right, let's see where this goes. Like, this hasn't been trash.
In fairness, I'm almost done, and you're 5 or 6 episodes in of a 5 season series. So
I'm full of optimism. It happens.
No, I'm just saying that I think you're going to lean a little bit harder on my end as you continue progressing with the show.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's talk about another show that doesn't need convincing from either one of us, The Mandalorian. This, I feel like this episode was so good. I'm kind of puzzled at the complaints of this season. One of my buddies was saying it's Star Wars in general. It's kind of all over the place. And he raised a really good point that they have zero need to progress any storyline or subplot that will lead us to the sequel trilogy. I don't know where my boy stands on the sequel trilogy. You and I both are like, that's effectively where the story stops. Whatever endpoint we can get to before then, that's when it's over. Because there's too much character assassination for me to go down that path. I'm super Padme there. You're going down a path I can't follow, and I'm not.
Yeah, they're doing basically the backstory to potentially the First Order, which was necessary before any of us said this doesn't make sense. Now, I think we talked earlier, even if you make the first movie make perfect sense, the second one kills it right. So it
Exactly.
doesn't. It's one of those. It's easier to actually kill this whole thing off than it is to act like it happens. Like, because you can make this great story, and even you can bring in the stuff from the video game to actually make it make sense. But the second movie loses it.
Yeah.
And it's like, nah. Like, oh well, there's this young kid with a broom, and he's force sensitive, and he's gonna be the new hero, but we'll never see him again.
Yeah, it was, and then you'd almost not see the second movie and just go from Force Awakens to the Rise of Skywalker, and not
trash.
Yeah, and not, you would be like, what's happening? But you also wouldn't feel like, I mean, I think it's more confusing going from watching the second one to the third one, because it's like, what? Wait, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah, you can't. What is it? Square that circle at all. It's not possible.
Square it.
You can beat your head against the wall, but it's not possible. You can't fill in the gaps. So, we're gonna have to make this TV show to make sense, and then we're gonna make this third connection that makes three make sense. Like, if you can make that, I got millions of. There's political problems you need to solve before you can actually write this. If you can make that happen, like, nah.
Yeah, next they're gonna make fetch happen. But I think one thing about the Clone Wars that was so cool, I didn't feel like Attack of the Clones needed supplementary material to get me to Revenge of the Sith. But Clone Wars was like, we got you. And they populated so much of the story. They gave us the war of the Clone Wars and provided so much reason, so many more reasons to care about characters, their relationships. Those background Jedi that we only see in the movies have actual subplots. So when they get killed and gunned down, it's like, oh man, y'all suck.
5 seconds in Palpatine's office. What happened?
Yeah,
dude, you were the man. Like,
right. I mean, that was because they were fighting NWO style against Sting. You next. You next. You next. As opposed to like going at him at once. But anyway.
I would have lost too.
Yeah, it would have. But yes, I mean, that's what I think was so cool about the Clone Wars. And I feel like Mandalorian doesn't need to speed up, advance anything to tie into the sequel trilogy. Because then the obvious question is, well, where the heck was Din Djarin, Bo-Katan when the First Order was rising? Where was Grogu? Because those characters are so much better than anything that happens in that sequel trilogy. And if you're going to do that, then we could just go to an alternate timeline. We could have Doctor Strange pop up at the end of Mandalorian and be like, yo, I'm taking you a totally different timeline. And that one's totally going to be different from the sequel trilogy. You ready?
I mean, there is still those walls of time from Star Wars Rebels. I think they didn't mess with the quote unquote multiverse, but there's an avenue for that. And I think you almost have to basically say, hey, we'll stick to it. We'll try and populate it to a point, and then we'll see how long you guys last. Basically, like, if this was DC, they're gonna be like, hey, yeah, we're totally gonna get to the Snyderverse as long as you're here, but when you're gone, we're getting rid of it. And I think that's what they need to almost do. It's like, hey, we can make this, we can only make this make sense to a point. There's nothing we can do to make this story right.
Yeah, because they can't retroactively fix the movies. Yeah,
just basically like, we have to flashpoint this movie. I mean, this sequel trilogy, we have to flashpoint it.
Flesh it. Yeah,
and go from there. It's like, hey, all these great heroes, it didn't happen. Like, Leia was running the Galactic Empire. I mean, was running the New Republic. There was no reason for a first order of the Empire. Han is not a deadbeat daddy, and Jedi Master Luke is not lame. So they're yeah, like
That's funny when you just say all that like that. It's like you put all that out there, and it's like, oh gosh, sequel trilogy really did a disservice to the characters, in addition to the fans of those characters, to an extent where it's like, no, Mando, you don't need to go there at all. Just keep giving us these cool stories with this group of Mandalorians, and hey, if you want to throw in Luke cameos or Ahsoka cameos or Rebels cameos, we're all for it.
Yeah, it's like and I think as soon as I was watching this episode, like seeing like Zeb there, I was like, oh wow, this is like okay, that's the kind of cameo, that's the kind of stuff I really enjoy seeing, like bringing all of the rest of the Star Wars universe back to us. And again, give me, and I will say this 100%, give me Heir to the Empire. And after that, if I cut myself off from Star Wars, I'm okay, because I got that great story there. Like, I can't get you to, Rise of the Crab, but I can definitely get you to Empire. Heir to the Empire, sign me to F up. Like, I'm all in.
Yeah, and I'm kind of like, well, the time's passed, can't do it. But now I'm like, I was perfectly fine with the Luke Skywalker we got in Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett. And, they did amazing work with Darth Vader's voice and Obi-Wan Kenobi. I was like, oh my gosh, this is James Earl Jones, but it's not. That's amazing. But
it is.
Yeah,
it's like, the rights to it, they know how to use it now. Like,
yeah,
I think there's a point. It's like, hey, especially if you are committed to doing an Indiana Jones 5 with a old Harrison Ford and using basically old footage / deepfake, I think there's enough avenue that we can do this. It's like if you go on the internet, any YouTube video, you can see like, oh, here's how this deepfake would look perfect, and it's like, yeah, we should just do it. Let's go.
Because I feel like Heir to the Empire is a great Star Wars story, and they have the technology now to make that happen. I'm all for it. I guess this is a thing where Carrie Fisher is the only one. Her estate would have to be like, yes, go for it, let's do it. We've already seen Princess Leia in Rogue One, and they did keep her around for more of. Gosh, what was that second? The Force Awakens, the
Last
Jedi. Yes, the Last Jedi, the Rise of Skywalker, which is weird because
Billy Lord doesn't seem like she's like, no, you can never use. It's almost like, yeah, you can use it. So I think they'd probably be like, hey, here's our story. We're not gonna crap on her. We're not gonna make her Mary Poppins.
Right.
Go.
Is
awesome. That cool? Yeah.
Yeah. And you're right. She is involved with Star Wars. Oh, that's the other thing. So apparently we're going to get some news on movies before I get back to Mandalorian. We're going to get some movies coming at the new Star Wars celebration. What's your level of excitement on these?
Excitement? No, I really I don't want. It's almost like the idea is like, if you guys do movies, are you going to touch? What is that? Like the sequel trilogy. We don't want you to continue it. It's like we really want you to keep us far away, like a galaxy, away from those trilogies. And then you say, nah, it didn't happen. And we're, oh shoot, oh no, oh, I'm crying in tears. No, we're really not. So we want that. Don't get us anything that acts like that was a thing. And if you guys, oh yeah, we're gonna announce a new trilogy with Rey and Finn and Poe, and everybody's gonna be like, ugh. Like don't deflate our emotions like that by announcing new movies. Like, you guys have the TV, stay there. Like, so we don't have to think about you guys screwing up movies.
I would be on board if one of those movies was, say, Solo 2, or
they're not gonna do it.
Yeah, but that's the kind of thing I would be excited about seeing. I don't care about a Lando movie at this point. I don't know. If they decided let's go way back, do a Knights of the Old Republic movie, maybe that could work or be interesting. But there's a finite amount of space between, or from Return of the Jedi and any continuation of the Star Wars story saga I want to see. And that's right before whenever they start doing the sequel trilogy build up.
Well, here's the weird thing. It's like the Knights of the Old Republic era is almost populated with the video game on Xbox. And it's like, unless you're going to do that, which is crazy, but if you do, you're going to piss off people, so don't do it. It's easier just not to do it. And then the MMO games, like, don't mess with this. So then your best option is to go way, way in the future.
What if they did a movie of my guy Starkiller, and I can't remember the game series, Force Unleashed? I think that's what it was. Sam Witwer, he'd love to be in a movie. I'd love to see him in a Star Wars movie. I'd watch that. We know we can work around Darth Vader now with Kenobi technology. And I'm sure Ian McDiarmid would be like, sure, I'll show up.
Yeah.
They could do a Cal Kestis Last Survivor movie. I'd be on board with that too. So there's things they could do that I'd be excited about.
But it's like, the thing is, like, most times in the movies, we need to tread new ground to get to new characters, new merchandise. It's like, the weird thing is, like, Star Wars is unlike comic book movies where we don't use the source material. Like, Star Wars, the movies are the source material, and then everything else flows from it.
Just like the Force.
I think you would want to try and do that. But I'm thinking if you did, like, say, come up with a Starkiller movie, yeah, you'd be making bank. I mean, it's like, just run that, like, Force Unleashed, yeah, you're going to make some bank.
It's there. And I don't think anything has happened in continuity in live action things that totally wipe that story out.
Yeah.
So, just a thought out there, Disney Star Wars heads. But let's talk about this episode of The Mandalorian, because I feel like this season has been really fun. And the viewership has been down, and people are trying to figure out if that's just because this season of Mandalorian sucks. I think it's just more a fact of this season of Mandalorian started in March, and March Madness has been exceptional. And everybody who's not watching it on Wednesday probably wouldn't go back around to it to watch it during the weekend, because these games have been stellar. Even though they obliterated, nuke, burned, buried, unburied, and then burned my bracket again. It's all good because that's the fun of March Madness. But wow. So we got the pirates coming back through to Navarro, bombing everything. Grief Karga. Now this was my one lone sticky part of the whole episode. Why did he not call out for Mando? Like, that would have been my first call, not to the Republic.
Because technically Mando turned him down.
Well, I mean, he may want some help. I mean, it's not like, hey, I need you to do that. I mean, hey, you and I, we have beef with these pirates because we shot them. Can I call on you again? That's the only thing. But, I like Carson. I think he's a really great character, and I love seeing a prominent Asian character in Star Wars, and he's just hanging out, chilling, doing his thing. I love him. I love the actor that plays him. He's so cool, and I love the fact that he is one of the characters, like, the Empire is not gone away. We need to start preparing for him. And everybody else has their head in the sand, like, oh, it's fine. It's great.
We've been the Emperor. Yeah. We're done. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we had
a celebration on Endor. Come on.
That should mark the end of it, where, the Emperor's gone and gone, never to be heard or return again. Yeah. Tim Meadows' character is pretty funny. I mean, I feel like he is the exact office stooge who's just there killing time and like, I got time for this. They can handle this on me.
He's perfect bureaucracy, not actually thinking of what this means. Yeah. It's like his idea is just, I'm pushing paper. I can't be dealing with the digging into why you said these things.
Right.
I think the viewership is down a little bit because a lot of shows, the focus has not been truly on Mando and Grogu. It's been building the rest of the Star Wars universe. And I think that's what's probably pissing people off a little bit. It's like, well, I don't want to get to the sequel trilogy, so don't give me stuff that actually makes it kind of more likely. Like, because chances are I probably watch Bad Batch and I'm like, wait, you guys are trying to make this crap happen. Stop it. And like, just oh man, like, can we just focus on Grogu? Grogu only gets like 2 scenes in here. You know, he's not as extra cute as he is, and probably that hurts it. Mando is definitely. We're seeing the actual problem with Mando. I mean, Jin Darden. He's not a leader. He's a follower, and it's like, wait, our hero, protagonist is literally taking way more orders. He doesn't have this independent streak. He's literally a follower. It's like, oh, this is not really what I'm used to in my hero.
I think he's more of a loner, and he just kind of is like, I guess I should belong because that's what I've done, and here's my avenue to get back in with the good graces with the crew. I may do my own thing, but I feel
he's never really
isolated.
been. And he's like, well, I mean, other than when he was actually a straight up bounty hunter, but he was still taking order from the boss, the armorer. He was like, yeah, whatever you do for the guild, those bounty hunter guild, it comes back to us. We get our cut. We gotta wet our beak.
This is the way.
Yeah, and that's kind of like, dang, really? And then I think your Star Wars Rebels and Star Wars Clone Wars folks are loving Bo-Katan. And it's like, wow, we are getting Bo-Katan. And we were actually kind of like, and Bo-Katan is always one of like kind of this really interesting characters because it's like, she has had those character arcs. She's been good, bad, but we always understand her. And it's like, oh, wow. And it's like, wow, we're getting a live action Bo-Katan. But like, oh, wait, are you trying to make her the heroine of the show when I really wanted you guys to make Din Djarin and like somehow him to wield the dark saber and him to be the leader? And that's not where this is looking like it's going.
I don't care about him being the leader. I think I like Din Djarin more as the Snake Eyes / Wolverine of this Mandalorian squad. I never would want Snake Eyes or Wolverine to lead the Joes / X-Men. I prefer him being the cool, like, oh yeah, Mando's about to go do his thing now, as opposed to follow me, fellow Mandalorians. That's not him. I don't want to see him in that role anyway. He's more of I'll gather some random misfits. I'll get Grief Karga, IG-11, Cara Dune, and we'll go do some stuff.
You want some speeder bike guys?
And I think the deal with Grogu is the deal with any kid in the show. There's only so much you can do with said kid because the cuteness factor eventually fades, and it's kind of like, look, he's still cute. Yeah, okay, but what else you got? So I think they're doing the smart thing and not overexposing Grogu. They're just letting him have his little moments and not making us go, oh gosh, please stop with the Grogu. We're over it.
Oh my gosh, Grogu's talking. Oh, it's so cute.
Yeah, I think they're pacing their use of him very well. And Bo-Katan is a character who will take her helmet off and has been converted to this old school way of thinking with the Mandalorians. And now it's like, nah, actually, you can be the bridge between both communities. So that had me excited because it's like, okay, we're going to see Axwell's Costco Reeves back in this thing again, helmets off, chilling, doing their thing. That's exciting. And Mando,
the way, and I can bring it all together. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, yeah. Like, I think all of us wanted to, like, every one of the old Mandalorians we saw before, we're like, yeah, bring them back. Like, we want to see almost like this Mandalorian culture from basically Star Wars, Clone Wars. We want to see them come back. But it's what is your vehicle to make it happen? It's like,
I think what they're doing with Mando is they're making him the old Boba Fett from the original trilogy, where he doesn't have to be up front and talking the whole time. He's just doing the thing, and it's like, oh, that guy's so cool. And they would hurt Boba Fett in some eyes to some fans in the book of Boba Fett was he was not that same guy. He was grown, he's mature, he evolved. He wasn't this cool, calculating bounty hunter that so many of us just were like, this character who says like 5 lines in the whole movie is so cool. So I think that's been the thing with him. And they're trying to be very deliberate with both how they handle Mando and Grogu so as not to make people turn on those characters because they're still the center of this Disney Plus Star Wars universe. And they can afford to spend time with Bo-Katan and build her up. Especially, and I feel like because of the way they've done Bo-Katan's arc, I don't miss Cara Dune I think that was really smart because it's like we don't need Kara. We've got Bo-Katan, and she's cool anyway, and she's not super perfect as a character, and I think that's worked out pretty well for him.
Yeah, it was a nice coup creating live action Bo-Katan, and I want to quibble a little bit because it's like I want to see
quibble away.
I want to see. I want to. It means like I want to see more Din Djarin and Grogu. Like, hey, you guys aren't Mandalorian, quote unquote, because you're never. You guys are both foundlings, so do some stuff. Like, you guys can go on those random missions to the random planet to help them against stormtroopers and stuff like that. It's like we don't want to see you completely integrated with the stuff. We want to see like, yo, go like, hey, Armor, I need you. Hey, Din Djarin, I need you to go to this world, go find some resources. There might be a foundling over there. Go find him. It's like it would almost be better. Like, okay, he's going to build Mandalorian, and by getting these random foundlings, and hey, we might have seen Ashwell, we might have seen Kari, like bringing those guys in one by one, and that's what we want. Versus, hey, Bo-Katan is the bridge. Like, she's gonna be with you all the time. It's like, but yeah, she's cool, but sometimes don't pigeonhole. Don't bring us the sequel trilogy. We don't want it.
Please don't. So I think what's interesting is what you're talking about. I think you have like a better approach, but I feel like we would get more of what we get in the Bad Batch, where they're just random episodes that do not matter. Where it's like, hey, here's an RPG quest for you guys to do. Okay, we'll spend 2 episodes here. And it's like, next episode. This didn't matter. When I'm putting together my list of essential Bad Batch episodes, this won't be on it.
Yeah. But I know it's like in new TVs, we have these really tight episodes that aren't the filler episodes. But it's like, if we're going to do 4 or 5 seasons of this, like, what's our end game? Like, what is... And it can't be sequel trilogy. You got to give me something else. It's got to be building to something else. Like, what is Din Djarin the king of the Mandalorian? Is he Mandalore? Or is he still the foundling trying to find his way? Like, if you say, hey, all right, we're going to build him up to be this awesome character, we're gonna make him Wolverine in the X-Men movies, or are we gonna make him probably Wolverine in the comic book?
Gosh,
like, we got to figure that. And like, us not knowing is kind of making us, the viewer, impatient.
See, I think for me, with Mandalorian in particular, I don't care. I'm fine with the way they're rolling out the story. I don't even need to speculate what the end game is with Din Djarin. I'm fine because I know, because they introduced Grogu, they're going to have to end it before the sequel trilogy, because then we just go, where's Grogu? Where's Din Djarin? Where's Bo-Katan stopping this from happening? And that's going to have a bad ending, which I don't think is going to endear anyone to the sequel trilogy, those especially who don't like those sets of movies anyway. It's like, really? You got rid of Grogu, Mando, Bo-Katan for this crap? This sucks even more now. I think that's where they're going to have to be very careful of trying to weave this story together and like, look, this awesome thing that you like is connected to this thing that you've already said how often you hate. Where's the scissors? Okay. Scissor me!
Alright. You want me to be rational, but I can't be. I'm sorry. I'm only, there's a part of me that's like, bring my Mando and Grogu, like, and make it happen.
Like, just digitally insert them into the movie. We'll just have Finn, Poe, and Rey re-record some dialogue, and we'll get rid of everything that doesn't make sense, like killing off Han.
You mean the whole movie?
Oh,
it's like
The Force Awakens isn't terrible. I feel like that was a good movie because it was basically Star Wars.
Force Awakens a rehash.
Yeah, that's why.
And as soon as we got out of the movie, we're like, yo, this is a rehash. Like, we know it. You should. It's like when I literally like watching on, like I see it on TNT or TBS. It's like the audience scores 94. Yes, of course it's a 94. It's freaking Star Wars with the same characters. Of course you love it. Like, it's not a groundbreaking new movie. It's literally the same freaking movie you saw when you were growing up on Sci-Fi. My gosh, this is awesome. Yes, it's the same dang movie.
Well, if Luke took over the Millennium Falcon from Han, but yeah, and got a hug from some stranger that he has no idea who. Oh my God,
I'm so sorry that you lost this man. You've never actually know his last name. Oh, hey Chewie, how you doing, bro? Trash.
It was so bad. The disrespect. That was one thing that carried on from the first film. The disrespect to Chewbacca, which is far worse.
Would you like a consolation medal?
Get out of here. Get out of here. So, all right. So Mandalorian was good. I love that drop down scene because we saw that in the trailer where they're in the cargo ship and they just drop down in Navarro. That was awesome. And the action in this I felt like it was super Star Wars. And I love seeing the dogfights when they're not in space. That's cool. That's something different that we don't normally get from Star Wars films or movies or TV shows. And it was just really fun seeing that. And I love the Salacious Crumb species going, yo, these dudes who are harassing us, they're right over there. Get them. And Paz Vizsla came through with a big chain repeating machine gun. But then the armor came through from behind. I love that. That was like her bad tail Luke Skywalker moment in this episode where she was just like, I'm coming through. And I don't even need a gun. I don't need a lightsaber. I got my tools. They're multifunctional. I'll beat you down with them.
It's like, you saw what I can do to stormtroopers with these things. Like, your pirates ain't nothing. I also like how Kree, he's like, when he had the music change when he was actually like, after Mando made the speech, like, hey, we should rally. And he's like, nah, hold on for a second. And then they changed the music a little bit. So like, oh, he's about to be that Captain Buzzkill. And then he changes up like, nah, this is the way. It was like, yeah, all right.
That was really great. Anybody else have anything? Yeah, I got something to say. I was like, of course you do. I was like, I mean, you've been like a hater, but you've had some you've had some character growth, and I really loved how it was very consistent. Because there's some shows where it's like, come on, dude, what are you doing? They looked out for you just last episode. No, he was like, I got you.
This wasn't written by CW writers who didn't watch the last episode.
Exactly. Oops, sorry. Yeah, so that was really cool, and I love that. They win the day, they beat the pirates off, they kill old boy, and Grief is like, welcome, thank you, you're heroes to us. We welcome to your new home. And the Mandalorians are like, man, it was like, thank you. That's all we need sometimes. Just like the heroes getting their due respect and appreciation, and them reciprocating. Now
it's funny. Would you have thought, if you didn't know the episode count, would you think this was like a season finale?
Absolutely. I mean, I wrote in my review that even if this was...
LazMovieCloud.com.
Thank you very much. I wrote that if this was 5 episodes and was like, listen, this season's just 5 episodes, deal with it. We've already got season 4 in the works, so this is just part 1. I'd have been fine with it. Even right down to the final scene. I'd be like, oh man, I can't wait till next season. I wouldn't have been like, man, this is 5 episodes and this is what you gave us? Nope. Perfectly satisfied. And I like that this episode also removed any trace of ambiguity with Elia Kane. We know very clearly now she's a hater, still under the Imperial banner. Like, oh, let me come in here and squash Captain Carson's plan here.
Ooh, you can help the rebels, and I probably shadedly told exactly where Grand Moff Thrawn is. I mean, Moff Gideon is. Ooh, don't want that.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm used to that. I was like, see, that's quality stuff there. But that end scene, I was like, no, don't, you bastards, you better not kill off Captain Carson. I will write a very stern email. He was all good. It was like coming up on the ship, was like, oh no, they're about to blast him. And I was like, oh yeah. I was so like, no, you can't.
Hey, my transmission's getting jammed.
Yeah, stop it. Yep.
I was like, I knew that was coming. Like, yeah. He just, as soon as he turns his lights on, it's like, dun, dun, dun.
I was like, oh, no blaster, great. But it was even better because I feel like maybe outside of Attack of the Clones, where we had a mystery going on, like who has set up this clone army, who killed Sam Wessel, are these cloners on Camino shady as they appear, or are they just totally innocent? I loved that it was this. Let me send my probe out because I still can't see what's going on. Shoot, what were the laws on this? This is Moff Gideon's transport. He never made it to trial. Oh no, hey, there's something else in here. What is it? It's Beskar armor. Does that mean the Mandalorians have turned? I was like, or does that mean that Moff Gideon was rescued by a Mandalorian?
Or, I mean, it's like adding the reason why we're not going to see the Mandalorians later on, quote unquote, is because the New Republic doesn't know they got set up, and because they're thinking, oh yeah, the world's hunky dory, we're pushing paper, Empire's gone, and don't understand the underlying first threat.
See, my problem with the whole thing is the First Order really, really needs Han, Luke, and Leia and Lando to do absolutely nothing, to be totally uninvolved with everything that they help create. Like, from the moment, because this stuff is asking us to go. After Return of the Jedi, they went home, peaced out, turned their phones off, never to hear from anybody associated with the rebellion again.
Yeah, they're drinking, they're having random stuff. They're not paying attention. They're literally living a life of luxury. The Galactic, the Republic, New Republic, just gives them, anything they want. They're gorging themselves. They're fat, out
they're
of
the
shape.
timeshare.
I mean, they're on timeshare world. Whatever timeshare world is in the Galactic and the Republic, that's where they are, and they have no phone service. And like, peace out, homie. Lando. More beers! Woohoo!
More Colt 45s, if you please. Alright, so let's see here. The Batman sequel. We're getting some more news on that. Now, they've already brought out the Riddler.
Joker-ish thing.
They could have done a lot better job with Riddler. That was so weird. Joker. We got a tease of Joker. And so there are two rumors, how ironic, of the villains for the Batman. Care to take a swing at them? One you probably would think, and the other is so far off the norm for this take of Batman that I'm surprised it's even being discussed. But it's the first, never before seen Batman villain in a live action format.
Okay. Professor Pig.
No. But Professor Pig would be such a smart choice of a villain for Matt Reeves' take of the Batman, because Professor Pig just wears a pig mask. He's crazy. He's demented. He creates these dull automatums, and that would make for nice, creepy villains in his pocket of the Batman universe. It's totally separate from the other one, and that could work because he's like a serial killer basically anyway. They could do more of that Seven style Batman that they enjoyed so much.
Yeah. Okay.
Good choice.
Easy one was Two-Face.
Yep.
Which can use
because he loves Christopher Nolan's Batman so much, so Two-Face in the second one, of course.
Yeah, no. Why doesn't anyone veto this crap? Like, do y'all see it, when it's floated out there other than just a rumor? You just say no. No, do not use anything to Chris Nolan. Like, oh, he did joke. I don't care. Like, he's off limits. Like, use Penguin. Congratulations. Like, Batman has so like, are you going to use Calendar Man? No. Okay. Like, use somebody who's not in a film, and we can vote. Don't bring Killer Croc out here that we had him questionably in Suicide Squad. Like, bring somebody new.
All right, they've got somebody new.
Okay.
A classic S villain.
Zeus.
No. Maxi Zeus, no. No.
Okay.
It's like a real credible bad guy. Let's see if I can give you one clue.
Yeah.
Actor.
Mobster or psycho?
Neither, Commander.
Okay.
Matches the color of your couch.
I'm at a loss. Who you got?
You look at the color of your couch?
I see it, yeah.
Brown?
But, yeah, I don't know.
Brown Batman villain? As actor?
Jeff, please don't say they're gonna bring who I think you're just talking about.
Who?
Hush.
Nah, dude. Clayface.
Okay. How do Clayface work in this Matt Reeves system?
I don't know. Maybe they'll really strip Clayface down to just be an actor, like a master disguise a la Zartan. And that's how they do Clayface in this universe. I think a master disguise villain
isn't be a psycho.
Isn't the worst thing. Clayface isn't really that big of a psycho.
No, he's not, but neither is Riddler, so deal with it.
'Tis true. 'Tis true. All right. Well, it's that magical time of the night. Dear brother, who's your nominee for Dummy of the Week?
Well, as we take our last shots at DC, I think I'm going to take one more. My Dummy of the Week is the executive board of Warner Brothers for giving the head of Warner Brothers and Discovery a $39 million salary last year. I'm pretty sure those write-downs and all that from all the WB and CW movies and, Warner Brothers movies cannot have been good for business. And I keep seeing that HBO Max is losing money even though they gain subscribers. I have not looked in the nitty-gritty of all this, but to give a CEO $39 million for probably losing them more money than they probably lost in the history of their company seems pretty freaking dumb to me. So they are my Dummy of the Week.
For my Dummy of the Week, I'm going to go with Married at First Sight. Now, Married at First Sight has done this thing where a few seasons ago I loved. It was a supplement to the standard watch these couples try to make a marriage out of this arranged marriage deal. And it's called Couples Couch. And Couples Couch was an ingenious thing because they would feature 4 or 5 couples who'd gone through the experiment and stayed married. And they're watching, commenting on something that they had gone through themselves. And it was really funny because it's like, when like adults watch little kids, oh, you don't know nothing. That's what they were doing. They were providing commentary. Oh, she sucks. She's terrible at communication. You got to get in there and do things. Awesome. For the last few seasons, they have not done it. And I've been like, come on, man. Where's Couples Couch? It should not be expensive to do. All they need is a camera to show them watching the joint. So they brought it back. And the very first episode, they have a couple that's divorced. And it hasn't gotten out in the streets outside of social media. So they're huh?
You're talking about Lindy and whatever her husband, Miguel?
No, not that one. Not that one. Olajuwon and Katina.
Yeah, they were entertaining. Right.
Yeah, they at least put in work to try to stay married. I'll give them credit for that. So then they didn't even have another couple because there's probably like 10 couples who stay together. And they had this couple that does a Married at First Sight podcast. Who cares?
I don't know that.
And then they had Clara and Virginia on, who are not a couple, which is like most egregious to a show called Couples Couch. But they failed at staying married. I'm like, why are they here? Why are we talking to them? What does their commentary mean whatsoever in this discussion? Oh yeah, I should have done that. No, we're not gonna have that. They're like, they're so goofy.
Sorry, self-reflection, not gonna happen. The aspect is like you have Couples Couch. What is it? Married at First Sight. Then you have the after show, and then that's like we're trying to stretch this French. Oh, and we're gonna go to the UK. Because maybe they don't know what the heck we're doing.
No, they started this before America. Or we just screw up and we can't do this right properly.
Well, but now we actually advertise it here, so
I may have to watch it to see some couples stay together.
Somebody, the percentage needs to go from complete trash, and we can make it 10% before the 6-month anniversary, and then after that it's a 0.
Yeah, and speaking of the after party. They don't always bring the full cast or 3 cast members from this current season. Like a few weeks back, they had Stasha on. I'm like, what's Stasha going to say? And Stasha was all, oh yeah, this is giving me Mitch flashbacks. Oh, are you talking about another person who failed at staying married like you? Oh. And then there was this.
You want to be throwing those shots, really?
Yeah. They were talking about a dog and she was like, oh, I'm having Justin flashbacks. I'm like, oh, you mean Justin who wasn't able to make his marriage work? Like you. Gotcha.
You.
You. Shout out to our guy Ming the Merciless. Awesome moment. Anyway, I got to go with them because you can't have a show called Couples Couch and then bring the rejects, the failures on the show commenting. Failures need to stay off of reality shows like this. We can't reward them for not working out the concept of what we're supposed to be doing here. I don't want to see them again. Just let them go off into the ether of their lives before they showed up on the show. All right. Well,
I think so.
Yeah. Next week, we're going to talk about The Last Kingdom, because you're going to watch some more of it by then. Right. And hopefully we'll start watching some of these big movies that have come out, because, I can't go out at all times. I have to go at the special time where there's no one at the movie theater. But I'm definitely gunning to see John Wick 4. So hopefully we can talk about that. Booba Yaga. All right. Well, thank you as always, bro. Appreciate you. Thank you all out there for watching and listening. This episode of Lyle's Movie Files has been filed.